A beautiful morning, and it's great to welcome you to our first edition of this program, Close Flow. It's always good to start something new. Anyway, it's always promising to be exciting to start a new project, and that's exactly what we promised to do on this show. Quality time, chat time, no holds barred, and we're going to be bringing you very exciting guests to bear their minds about national issues, social issues, some personal issues, and I can tell you, you want to hear every single word. So it's my pleasure welcoming you onto this show. And our first guest on this maiden edition of the program is no less a distinguished and celebrated Nigerian than the legal firebrand who somewhat to a couple of Nigerians has become a rallying point, maybe true to his name. My pleasure to welcome to this program, Mr. Festus. I want to see that name properly. Egwawari? Yes, Adini Keyamo. You're welcome.
Adini
Keyamo. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Now, he's not a stranger to us here. He's a member of this house, as it were. He's also a notable Nigerian. So let me start first. No drawing back. What is your opinion about social justice in Nigeria? Your fair opinion about social justice in Nigeria?
Well, whether there is actually social justice in Nigeria, I'm sure that is what you're asking. Because we are a third world country, and because you still have a lot of social imbalance, and those who ought to ensure that there is social justice. There are 2 or 3 critical institutions that should ensure that there is social justice. And one are the law enforcement agencies, which of course would mean that whoever is found culpable should be charged to court, should go to court. That is social justice, to ensure that everybody is on even keel. And the other critical institution is the judiciary, so that anybody that comes and approaches the court, or people that approach the court for one dispute or the other, the justice should be blind as to their status in society, to say, look, I'll just look at the issues and hand down the judgment the way it is. Now, looking at it from these 2 critical indices I just said now, it is regrettable to say that we have not attained social justice. You still have so many people escaping justice because of their position in society. You see so many people who suffer injustice because of their position in society. And so we have not been able to achieve this equilibrium, social equilibrium, where, despite or in spite of your standing in society, you will face the law as it is,
squarely,
without considerations without extraneous, considerations. That is my personal opinion, that we have not attained social justice in Nigeria.
Okay then, so let's just go straight into the dirty waters. So, which one would be the first dramatic case that you think you have handled that borders on social justice or social injustice? Which one would you want to refer to? One of the cases, we have handled so many cases, but can you look at a particular one that is so emotional before you, that you think you have handled this and this should be the result of it?
There are so many interesting cases I've handled, both private and public. Unfortunately, the public, they only see those ones that grab the headlines. But there are very personal cases, perhaps because of our ethical consideration of, privacy of clients and the secrecy of clients. We're not going to talk about. So let's just talk about those ones that grab the headlines. Okay. Those ones, everybody followed some of those ones. I think the one that is very dear to my heart, and I think that up till now justice has not been done, is the murder of the late Attorney General of the Federation, Chief Bola Ige. I put my life and limb on the line. I did all I could to bring those who are culpable to justice, and unfortunately, the system thwarted the effort. That is a big regret today, and I think the killers are still walking free in our midst. And the the earlier we also readdress that issue, I think the better. We need to go back to the issue. We need to ask ourselves certain basic questions. Why would the chief law officer of the country be killed like a rat without questions being asked? And some of the protagonists still parading themselves, across the country on the political scene. That is my problem. That is my problem.
That's actually very regrettable, and I want to also re-echo your cry that the country will probably need to re-examine the issue and open the books again and see if we can put it to rest finally. What exactly happened to late Bola Ige? I think that is a very relevant issue. We'll come back to that. Now, what is your opinion about another legal firebrand? That is the late Gani Fawehinmi. What's your opinion? What's your impression about him? Now that you are an activist yourself now, how would you want to rate him now, reflectively? What kind of person do you think he was?
Well, I worked with him. And apart from working with him, I was also his close associate. Beyond some of my friends and colleagues in the chambers that time, they knew I was just not a lawyer in the chambers because we were handling personal issues together, myself and himself. Don't forget that we started the National Conscience together. It was not a political party then. It was just a movement to fight the military. Myself, himself, the great Femi Aborishade, a few of us, started this National Conscience. And then, I had the opportunity of seeing him at close quarters, working with him at close quarters. We were traversing the country, the length and breadth of the country, night and day, trying to preach the gospel of the national conscience, to arouse public consciousness against the military, and the need to also to entrench ourselves as the masses on the polity, to establish political parties without the approval of the military. That was one of the major goals of the national conscience at that time. It was not a political party, because up to now I am not a card-carrying member of any political party. I have never carried any card.
We'll come back to that.
From that close quarters, I was able to see that Gani Fawehinmi is one Nigerian that we may never ever, replace. I'm saying that, from the deepest part of my heart. He was someone who believed so much in his personal principles that border on justice, equity, anti-corruption, especially, and fair play to all. Now, he was prepared. He was one Nigerian that was prepared to pursue these principles even at the risk of his life. He was prepared to pursue it, and like he said, the famous quote he said before he died, he said, even if it meant him standing alone, that, encapsulates everything about Gani Fawehinmi in the sense about his single-mindedness. The whole world could go on a different route because of corruption and because of gratification and all that. But he would never go with the popular views. He would go on the principle, on his views that he thought were founded on social justice, equity, and good conscience.
And this must have rubbed off on you greatly.
Well, I try to. I try to learn the feet of the master.
Yeah, because the next issue we are going to be looking at, you mentioned the conscience movement, the national conscience movement.
Yes.
But some Nigerians have the opinion that your reputation as a lawyer, or as a firebrand lawyer, or as a distinguished lawyer came when you were handling NADECO matters. How true can that be?
Well, that was my baptism of fire, really, when I was with Gani Fawehinmi, because when I joined his chambers, it's very easy, as it happens to me now too. As a senior, I have more than 23 lawyers working with me in 3 of my branches, Lagos, Abuja, Warri. And I normally look at them and I see their different talents. And once I see their talents, I now, give you cases that, suit your passion. Some of them would like admiralty cases, some of them like criminal cases. So once these cases come, I'll sign those cases to you. I think I've even noticed that I had a passion for human rights. I had a passion to battle, social injustice. I was always mad about arrest, illegal arrest and detention. So he saw that this boy would love such cases. So each time they arrested anybody, he would call me late in the night till 10 o'clock. Look, Keyamo, they have arrested my now. Look, we can't allow this to happen. You must be in the office 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. I said, yes, sir, I must be there. 6 o'clock. And then the papers must be ready. We must go to court immediately. So that type of thing, he was driving me. And he was not driving me against my will. He was driving me, in line with my will. Yeah. What I wanted to do those cases. So I found myself handling some of those very controversial cases, I was the counsel to Dr. Becker and some Kuti. In fact, I got a famous injunction then against his trial, the military tribunal that was trying himself and the former president, Obasanjo. Yeah. I got an injunction to stop the tribunal from sitting. In fact, I was such a young lawyer, I stood up before the late Justice B.O. Shogun, of blessed memory now, he's dead, of the Federal High Court then. And I brought an application to stop a military tribunal from sitting. And he looked at me and said, how do you think I can grant this injunction against a military tribunal? And I told him to listen to me for 1 hour. And I argued and argued and argued. And I ended my argument by telling him that, look, the balance of convenience in this case is that, supposing they sentence them to death and they carry out the execution, how can we bring back life again? I said, so the balance of convenience is that you stop the tribunal first. Let's look at the issues before that evil, because that is an irreversible evil that will happen. And when you are arguing for injunction, they look at the balance of convenience. Will something happen that is irreversible? And if it will not happen, then they won't grant you the injunction. And B.O. Shogun, with a heavy heart, he rose for 10 minutes and came back and delivered his judgment and said, look, he was going to stop the tribunal. Military boys, they never obeyed it. But I made a point at that point. It was a moral issue we took to the international community that the military boys were disobeying court orders at that time. I was part of the team of Ken Saro at that time. I was part of the team of Chief Abiola. That was when this whole problem of the June 12, 1993 election started. That was when I was just called to the bar. This is my 20th year at the bar. Yeah. And then, it threw me right into the heart of battle.
Okay, now, but... those were glory days.
Yes.
Would you have anything to be ashamed about your position with EFCC's? Because now the story going round is that you're becoming a rich man because you're now handling EFCC's programs. No, that is the story. Let me
explain this. Let me explain this very thoroughly. And I think I asked a couple of people this question and they ran away. And I asked them a simple question. I said, look, with my position, my antecedents, would you prefer, really, that I'm on the other side defending people accused of corruption rather than prosecuting people accused of corruption? As a lawyer, you can only take two positions. Yeah. You either defend or you prosecute. That's the only two positions you can take as a lawyer. Yeah. Or except you are a judge. I'm not a judge. Now, the moment I asked for that question, they now said, oh, yes, I understand you. Because how would you feel, for example, if you see me on television screaming my head off that they should leave people alone? Those who are accused of corruption, they are not guilty. They should leave them alone. That is when, and then don't forget that so most of them would want me to be on their defense team. Anyway. All right. What people don't know, I must finish that question. I must finish. When you finish. Okay. Maybe when you go, but I need to finish up that question. Okay. Now, people also don't understand that. Do you think I will not earn more money defending people who are accused of corruption? There's a case I did, for example, there are about 8 or 9 SANs on the other side in the defense team of the accused person. I'm prosecuting. They paid them more than 300 million so far as a team, as a lawyer team. We are still battling to get 500,000, 1 million as part of our expenses in prosecuting. It's just the passion. It's the passion. And in that case, I've gotten results so far.
So it's not a gratification, just a passion.
It's a passion.
Okay, so we're going to be back. Festus Keyamo is still in the house, and we still have a lot more to discuss with him. Stay with us, don't go anywhere. Thank you. Yeah, it's good to have you back. The program is still slow flow, and slowly we are flowing with Barrister Adini Keyamo. I would like him to just add just one or two things about this idea that is made so, tons and tons of money from EFCC. What exactly?
You see, there was one very senior lawyer who came one time to our meeting when we were, arranging as to how to prosecute some people at the commission. They invite, they are just my clients like every other client. Don't forget that. They invite me to do a few of the cases for them. And the lawyer thought, this very senior lawyer thought there was a lot of, the bills would be so much, the money, the fees they pay. And by the time he came and he saw the scale of his, he ran away. He just took off.
Okay, so that will close that chapter on the tons of money you've made from EFCC.
Take note that I'm still a poor lawyer, struggling. So it's just a matter of passion. It's a matter of passion, really.
Okay, now that brings me to another issue, really. Now you have a passion for what the law can do to help, resolve issues. But how asinine can the law be sometimes? Have you ever had a case where the law actually has been manacled by either respect for authorities or respect for names or respect for deference to things that are really not part of the legal system?
Well, there are instances, so many instances like that. Like I said, we started with the issue of social justice.
Yeah.
And I said that the social injustice has pervaded both law enforcement agencies and, of course, the courts, the judiciary. I'm sure you heard, of course, of recent where there was this pension thief. And the public outcry that greeted that judgment, of course, is well known now, where somebody who stole so much was given so, a little. And even an option, apart from the fact that the imprisonment people think is still not enough. Yes, that is what the law stipulates, but the judge also had a discretion to make sure, to say, look, there is no option of fine. Because the law allows the judge
that discretion.
The discretion not to give the person an option of fine. So when some lawyers come and say, oh no, he acted according to law, it's a lie.
Well,
when you see that type of matter and you see the social mood, you should impose the maximum sentence. And so he should not have been given an option of fine. Even if he was given 2 years, he should not have been given an option of fine. I mean, this is just a test case. I cited this case because it's the most recent, it's the most current, and it's in the minds of everybody. So there are so many other cases like this where we think that the court should be should be harder on cases, on people who are accused or found guilty, I'm sorry, of corruption, of corruption. The courts should be more
seen.
Yeah, should be seen as coming down hard on them because of the mood of our country. And because we now know that 80% of our problems stem from the problem of corruption and impunity. You see, corruption is not only gratification. People might make that mistake. The major problem we are facing in the realm of corruption is impunity.
Get away with it.
Yes, impunity. I can get away with murder. It's not really that I give you money, I take money. People are using their positions to give favors when favors are not desired, and to withdraw favors when favors are desired, or privileges when privileges are desired. So, or privileges are earned, as it were. So, that is the problem, the major problem we're facing. It's the impunity. People get away with all kinds of things.
That brings to mind, therefore, how pleased were you when you eventually got a conviction against Chief Olabode George? How pleased were you?
It's professional satisfaction. It brings professional satisfaction and also ethical satisfaction, moral satisfaction. But it's not personal satisfaction. Personal satisfaction is when your ego is hurt, when you take things personal, when somebody hurts you and you want to get back at the person. That's personal. But when you are doing it on the behalf of the people of Nigeria, in other words, in many countries, for example, when they want to charge an accused person to court, they don't say the state versus this or so federal republic. They say the people versus. I think it happens in India. I'm not sure.
America.
India or one or two. I think America too. They say the people versus. Because once you stand up in court as a prosecutor, you are representing the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So that, I think, should be the right title we give to our criminal cases in this country. You are not the state, it's just the state.
It's too ephemeral.
It's too ephemeral, it doesn't show the type of philosophy or the jurisprudence behind criminal trial. The jurisprudence is that the people are hurt. Any crime that is committed is against the people of the country. So when you stand up, therefore, you are speaking on behalf of the people. Therefore, bringing me to your question now, when you get a conviction, you are happy for the people. It's professional and moral satisfaction that you get now out of such things.
In doing your legal duties, do you think you fight dirty? Some people think you're a dirty lawyer, that you get into the gutters and you pull everybody with you down into the gutter. Is that true?
No, at times, it requires some unorthodox methods to get results. People may see those as dirty, but you see, we live in unusual times. We use unusual times where I am, with the greatest, respect and apology to most of my colleagues. Most of them is all about money making, and so you will see your own colleagues opposing you when you are standing on moral high ground. Keyamo, what did you do yourself? Now you alone, now this and that and all that. But when you're fighting people who are corrupt, you're fighting the corrupt society, don't forget that they'll do also anything to also sully your image, to make sure that they bring down the moral content of your image by attacking your person too. And that's why I've come under, all kinds of attack. Like I learned from my late boss, the greatest weapon you can have against such people is to remain strong, focused, unflagging, uncompromisable in the pursuit of your goals. Because at the end of the day, they will acknowledge you. At death, Gani was greater than when he was living. Because even his greatest enemies acknowledged when he died that, this man fought us. He stood and fought us. I had cases, for example, too, where people had fought in the past. When they have difficult cases, they now remember me. And so at the end of the day, you really earn respect by standing your ground and holding onto your principles. There was somebody who came to me who said he was suggesting, he didn't really come straight, he was suggesting compromise in a particular criminal matter, and he was saying, Keyamo, what can you do for us? That's suggestive. What can you do for us? And I said, Egbon, tomorrow if I do something for you, and then you want to recommend me to somebody tomorrow, will you now tell the person I'm an honest person? He said, that is true. He said, carry on.
All right. So let's now see what somebody has said. Somebody in the column, you have a column in one of the Nigerian weeklies.
Absolutely.
Yes, okay.
Right.
But in one of those your write-ups that you said, so when I fight in court, I fight in public too, because that is where the real justice lies, the justice of the people. So do you believe in mob justice?
It's not mob justice. It's mob justice is when there's no reasoning and there's no pattern in the thought. That's mob justice. If you say mob justice. But when you fight in public, you are carrying the people along. That is mob. It's not that you want them to befuddle people and then you just want them to accuse somebody unnecessarily. You want the public to also see the facts as they are. There are three types of judgment, like we all know. This is a cliche. People say it all the time. The judgment of the courts, the judgment of the people, and the judgment of God. So you must, when you have very unusual cases, like the case of Bola Ige, let's go back to that case of Bola Ige. What I did in that case was to make sure that I put everything in the public arena. At the same time as I was handing over the suspect to the police, I said, look,
they could not see you.
You be worried, boy. Whenever I admit to enter worry, now they talk like that. So. So I said, look, the public should see the evidence, the confessions of the accused person, everything. So the public should judge. At the end of the day, what happened? Of course, there were all kinds of abracadabra, judicial process and all of that. But today, everybody understands exactly what happened in that case. They understand what happened in that case. So I'm just giving that as an example. There are so many other cases where you need to carry members of the public along, because these cases are the cases that touch the conscience of the country, the conscience of the nation. That is why, like I said, if you fight a dictator in darkness, he will kill you. The only way to defeat a dictator is to fight in public.
So everybody can see the okay.
I'll give you an example. You want to take a small glass away from a little child, a small glass, anything, any item at all. You are bigger than the child, 2-year or 3-year-old child. And the child, if you are taking it in darkness or inside the room, you will succeed in taking it away. I say, keep quiet, don't talk. The child. But when the child raises a law, I say, make my come. You say, take, leave him for him. Because that child is drawing public attention to his crisis at that time. So one big man is trying to oppress me here. That is how it is good to fight those who oppress us. Fight them in public.
So that's a good ground. Now, it's sad, but we must go back to these issues of unresolved, matters. I just wonder, what are you going to do? What do you resort to when a legal question is not answered completely or effectively? I will give, for example, late Bola Ige that we just referred to now. There's the case of Dimeji Bankole, the former Speaker of the House of Representatives. We also have Chief Kenny Martins, and a couple of other. Kenny Martins, not my own Martins. My own is Fola Martins. That's Kenny Martins. Okay, so how do you...
I think in such cases, when you are in charge of such cases, you must pursue them to the utmost. Don't forget that the case of Kenny Martins, where he was accused of 7.74 billion naira fraud, the court at the initial stage said he had no case to answer. Incidentally, this same judge that was involved in the pension case is the same judge. And that said he had no case to answer. I took up the case. I did the case to the Court of Appeal. And last year, the Court of Appeal said, sorry, you have a case to answer with these tons of evidence. Go back and retry him. So we have won that of Kenny Martins. We have won the case. I have won it for the commission. And we are going back for retrial. Okay. That of Dimeji Bankole, we are on appeal at the Court of Appeal. Okay. Of course, there are two cases. Okay. The court in one case said he had no case to answer. The other one, we are still in trial. We are just about to begin trial. Okay. But the one they said he had no case to answer, despite 12 witnesses I called, 43 exhibits I tendered, we're on appeal. Just like Kenny Martins have appealed. So let the Court of Appeal look at it and say whether, in fact, all these documents we tendered show that they have no case to answer. So there's a way to fight the judicial system if you're not satisfied. Pursue it to the utmost. But in the case of Bola Ige, for example, when politics come into consideration, why didn't they appeal? The DPP of Oyo State at that time, let me tell you what happened. Don't forget that it was the government of the Alliance for Democracy that was in power. I was at the heat of, so let's bear it all here. There was a government of the Alliance for Democracy under Lam Adesina that was in power when Bola Ige was killed in 2001 December 21. Now, before the trial started, as the trial just was about to start, there was a change in government, and the PDP government of Aladoja came on, and he appointed his own Attorney General and all of that. Okay. Why did they withdraw the cases against those 10 people accused of killing Bola Ige? Why did they withdraw that case without going on with the case? So political considerations came in. They withdrew it. That's a fact.
It under political matters.
They withdrew that case where Alani Omishore,
other guys.
Yes, and the other guys were charged to court. Why?
Okay, why? That is the hanging question. We are going to find a way to answer those questions. You're welcome back. We promised to blow away your Monday morning blues, and I'm quite humbled to say Barrister Keyamo is just doing exactly that, trying to bear, all the information here for us to see what's going on. Now, okay, let me quickly come back to you, because really this is in your fault. Can you say the practice of law can be truly altruistic? Can it be done, just like you said, on the basis of passion, concern for the people?
Oh yes. And God will always bless you. God will always bless you. There are certain things you should take up, because of passion. We mentioned the case of Kenny Martins, for example. Go and ask at the commission. I'm doing the case free of charge. Without taking there are a few others like that I'm doing free of charge. The others, of course, will require a few, remuneration here and there to offset our expenses. But not as much as we earn if we charge, people who are just on commercial basis. But I'm doing those cases free of charge. So for those who don't know, let them go and find out. And I'm not talking of free of charge professionally, that you now pay for my flight and all that. Flight, hotel, everything from my pocket, free of charge for the commission. So for those who think, they are scared. Why is Keyamo prosecuting for the EFCC? We are scared we are going to lose him because he may not stand up for what is right again. Who has challenged government on bad policies in the last few years more than myself? Who have challenged those in power, who have taken them up more than myself? Okay, there's a rider. This is the point. There's a rider. So there's a rider to that statement. Yeah. Do you have anything against PDP chieftains? Oh no! Don't forget that we have very few differences, in terms of principles, with all the political parties. Yeah. I plug the parties in Nigeria. So really nothing at all. Nothing. You find bad eggs and very good eggs too in the PDP.
In all the baskets.
You will find bad eggs in the ACN. Bad eggs. Yeah. I mean, PDP, they're doing wonderfully well. There's so many PDP governors are awesome. Look at the case of Uyo, Akwa Ibom. Akwa Ibom it just blew my mind. I went to Akwa Ibom, Uyo recently, and I said, is this Dubai? But that's a PDP governor, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Now, there's somebody, there's a young fellow here who believes that you needed to be disciplined for your excesses. Have you, at any point, been called to face any disciplinary committee, either legally or socially, at any point?
Not once in my life, because I've always, operated within the law and within the ethics of the profession. For those who pour these vituperations, there are those that I have touched where it hurts. And I'm happy when I get those reactions, because I've hit somebody where it hurts. Somebody who is trying to cheat the people, I've hit that person where it hurts. So if you don't get a reaction, that means you are not doing well. You are not doing well. If you get a reaction, then you are doing well.
Okay. Now, so how would you feel? No, okay, first let me ask this one. Our judicial system here will seem to take forever to determine a case. Bola is an example. But here was Henry Oka in South Africa being nailed. So how do you feel about that?
Well, let me say, that means you are asking a question in general context of the delay in the administration of justice, especially in criminal justice. Yes. And I do agree entirely with you that the situation calls for a surgical operation. The situation is so embarrassing that cases, especially corruption cases, take so long to determine. You know why? Because they have so much money to manipulate the system. And then people who, are accused of smaller offenses in other parts of the world, they just go through the trial smoothly. And then it's over. Look at Michael Jackson's lawyer. When the trial started in America, it just bam, 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 day to day, and within a few weeks, it was all over. Why is it not here? And I'll tell you, it's very simple. I am making a bumper recommendation now to the National Assembly, and I'm going to make it public. If they don't take it, then I would go to the Nigerian people and say, these people, they are not sincere. They are not sincere about making sure that they speed up these corruption cases because their friends are involved. What do I mean? There's only one weapon. I am at the heart of prosecution. So I speak. Permit me the modesty to say that I speak authoritatively on this issue because I'm at the heart of prosecution, the country. So I know where the problems are. Now, the major weapon they use when you file a charge against an accused person, there's only one weapon he uses. He files a preliminary objection to delay the trial. Okay. A preliminary objection. He says that your proof of evidence is not enough to support the charge, or he says that the court has no jurisdiction. He knows what he's doing. Once the court rules against him, he goes on appeal. As he's going on appeal, he tells the lower court, I am challenging your powers to even go on with this case. You have no powers. So stay action while I go and determine that preliminary point. And the judge, because he doesn't want to be accused of bias, he says, okay, I wait. I stay proceedings. Go and conclude. All the corruption case of all the ex-governors of all public officers, it's only one circle. This only circle they are going through. Now that case is stayed. Then the case begins to travel to the Supreme Court. It takes 6 years. And in most cases, they will not speed up the appeal process. They will be delaying. You have to quickly prompt them first, file a motion to dismiss the appeal before they will bring their records in and all that. And it takes another 7 years to go, or 8 years to go to the Supreme Court. They now come back again to the lower court. In some cases, some very mischievous one will raise another issue again. I will now run the same course again. And the person is going back to Senate. You see the person recontesting as governor. Some of the people on trial, they are back to Senate. They contested as suspects. And they're still back in the house. Accused persons in the house, some governors and all of that. Now, if you now have a problem, and you know that you see the tumor in your body, you know that there's a growth somewhere, you now know where to cut off. You are not diagnosing again. You know that this is the point where the problem is. Why not address that point? This is the point I'm making. Now, there's a provision in the EFCC Act that says that these preliminary issues of objections or appeals should not act as a stay to cases. So it is there in the law. So in other words, I'm coming. It's there in the law. The law realized that these are the problems that we are going to face. So they put that provision in the EFCC Act. But what do the defense lawyers say? They say that the Constitution is superior to the EFCC Act because there's no provision like that in the Constitution. The Constitution says that you have a right to appeal. And once you have a right to appeal, one of the rights of appeal is that you must have a right to have your issue determined before the case goes on. So they now say that the Constitution is superior to the EFCC Act. And as such, once the judges see that, they'll say, well, it is true, this Constitution is supreme. And so they stay the action despite that provision in the EFCC Act. What then do we do, my brother? Remove that provision from the EFCC Act and put it in the Constitution. Like we say, Yoruba Okpari. Yeah. Is it not over? Yes. Remove it and put it in the Constitution so that it now becomes supreme law. that there shall be no stay of proceedings in criminal cases.
So why is that difficult to do?
This is the point we're asking the National Assembly. You are reviewing Constitution. Why not put that provision there so that you now arm the prosecutors to go on with their cases in court? Nobody can dare. In fact, they should even put it that criminal cases are deemed adjourned from day to day. Some people may say, oh, well, those are rules of procedure. You don't need to put them in the Constitution. But there are provisions regarding leave to appeal in the Constitution. There are provisions in the Constitution about election tribunal that says you can deliver your judgment and give reasons. Those are procedural rules, but they are in the Constitution. Okay, so it is not abhorrent to put rules of procedure in the Constitution when they are fundamental to trials. Put it there and let us see what happens.
I think we probably have to canvass this in the public, so that you can get.
And for accused persons who are scared that the court may have no powers now, and yet you have convicted me, but I'm challenging your powers at the Court of Appeal. Then go to that Court of Appeal to ask for bail pending appeal. If you are convicted and sent to prison, you can rush to that same Court of Appeal to say, look, this court that convicted me has no power, so grant me bail. You can do that in 1 or 2 months while you are in prison. Yeah. Bail pending appeal, Abi. Yeah. The Court of Appeal will look at your papers and say, well, okay, we'll give you bail pending appeal. Let us look at your appeal. But at that point, you have been convicted. You can no longer contest or find your... It is this eyesore we see where people will leave the Senate chambers and go to court to answer cases of corruption and come back again. That is wrong. It's wrong.
Okay. Now, can you quickly tell me again how you think the Henry Oka case is going to play out eventually?
Let me tell you something about the Henry Oka case because I'm also deeply involved in that case. Yeah. How come I'm involved in all this? I'm also deeply involved in that case. When the prosecution closed his case in South Africa, the court said, okay, Henry Oka, open your defense. Henry Oka said, okay, I have a number of witnesses to call from Nigeria. Because don't forget that the thing happened in Nigeria. Yeah. Including this boy that was even convicted now, they had a number of witnesses to call to prove his case. The law is that such an accused person, once he says he wants to call people, give him the facilities to call the people. You don't stay in proceedings, but just give him all the opportunity. Call your people to defend you. Now, they now signed subpoenas. Subpoenas is to serve on the accused persons. We got all the subpoenas. They now called, the lawyer in South Africa got in touch with me and sent the subpoenas to me. My office in Abuja served the subpoenas on the Attorney General and said, look, help us. Because that's the procedure that, we read the law to be. Yeah. The Attorney General wrote back to us and said, look, they needed a more positive court order. I made that letter public, and I'm sure you saw it on the internet. I made that letter public. The Attorney General wrote back to me and said, we want a more positive court order for us to now bring these witnesses from Nigeria. We now wrote back to the lawyers in South Africa and said, okay, apply to the court. While all this breakback was going on, just 2 weeks before he was convicted, that was when the letter arrived. The court in South Africa said, look, sorry, we are foreclosing your right to call witnesses because the Nigerian government is not cooperative. The South Africa, I'm going to make that judgment known public to you. They said it clearly that the judgment, the Nigerian government is not cooperating in bringing the witnesses. Now, if the South African court realized that the Nigerian government was frustrating his effort to call his witnesses, why did it go ahead to convict him when they knew that he did not have the opportunity to call his witnesses?
We have a call coming in. I think we have a call coming in. Yes. What's there? We can hear you. Hello? Hello, we have a caller online. Can you identify yourself?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Go ahead. What's your name, please?
Yes, Maruf from Midemo.
All right, so can we have your question quickly?
Hello, sir, I can't hear you clearly.
Can we have your question quickly? Good morning. Just go ahead. Go ahead.
Mr. Festus Keyamo.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
We are all praying for you for wonderful job you have been doing for the masses. And I pray to God Almighty to be with you in any way you go. You see, in this Nigeria, we are fed up of corruption tomorrow. Are you hearing me, sir?
Yes, sir.
But with people like you, if you can team up, do something about this, we'll be very happy. Look at Chief Gani Fawehinmi. Before the man died, this is what he has been fighting for. A case like this man case, James Ibori. Look at Nigeria Judiciary. See what they have done. And this man gets to the UK. You see what happened to him there? Is it that we don't know what we are doing or what's all this? Please, if you people can call yourself together and do something for the masses, we are suffering. The money that belongs to millions of people, a single person will now sit on top of that money. And they are complaining that there is a lot of crisis in the town. You see, people are suffering. Please, God will help you. Continue the way you are doing. We are continuing to pray for you as well.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say. Please, Mr. Keyamo, God will be with you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your contribution. Yes. So we'll react to that. Maybe you need to float a party or something. Maybe the conscience program may have to extend beyond the life of Gani Fawehinmi. But look, but let me just, there's something here that I actually want to also for us to look at. Now, MEND, what exactly is going on now? Since the amnesty kicked in and some development programs are taking place in Niger Delta, we're still having, well, maybe the young man actually took it out of my mouth. We're still having some violent protestations and all that. Is MEND on the mend, or is MEND not going to agree with this?
I'm not a member of MEND, so I don't really know what is happening. I don't even know who are the members of MEND, so I don't know what is happening, inside of them. I also defended Asari Dokuboto, don't forget that. I also brought him out of prison, Asari. And when I was defending Asari, don't forget that MEND was also carrying out some political actions and asking for his release then. But that did not mean Asari was a member of MEND, but they were sympathizing with him. And they were the ones who carried out all kinds of political actions then and all that, and they were asking for his release. So also, the case of Henry Oka, they also reacted. So, but I don't know the composition. But the point I want to make in all of this is that I think that the fundamental issues regarding the Niger Delta question, those issues, they have to be addressed.
Okay, we have a caller on the line. Can we identify you, please? Hello? Hello? Yeah, you're onto the program. Can we identify you quickly?
Hello?
Hello, yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, am I speaking with festus Keyamo?
Yes.
He's on with him. Yes, just go ahead and ask your question or your comment.
God bless you, Barrister Festus Keyamo.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you are one person that we have always been looking up to. But there's one problem which we are still having in the society, most especially when it comes to the situation and the problems that you had with the Controller General of Customs. I don't know how that problem was being swept under the carpet, and up till now we have not been able to hear anything. All we just said is that it has come and gone. So I don't know what you have, what the enlightenment you have to give to us.
Well, you see, thank God we have this program. They say the program is no holds barred. Okay, fine. I have said it more than 3 years ago, and nobody has come to arrest me. And I've said they should come and arrest me and say, if I'm saying a lie, that all the certificates are forged. WAEC certificate forged, Nigerian Institute of Management forged, and is the Comptroller of Customs. I have written to everybody that is concerned. I've taken the matter to court. The matter is at the Court of Appeal. It's not a matter of rumor. The person who did it for him, who forged it for him, is there. He's there. And copies of the certificates are with me, the forged certificates. The Attorney General of the Federation wrote to me more than a year ago and said I should avail him those copies of the forged certificate. I have sent them to him. We have not heard anything till now. The police, I've sent the copies to him. The police said, oh no, they want to start, but they now charge the boy for armed robbery. That he stole those certificates from the man's house.
The guy was going to be a witness?
Oh yes, and the boy is on the run because they want to get him for armed robbery. That's the kind of thing that is happening in the case. So let Nigerians know.
So it's not like that you appeal to the president to
yes,
stop action.
Please. And then people should come for the other side. If they think I am lying, this program is for everybody.
Okay.
They should come forward. And in coming
so
forward,
we'll take your call now.
In coming forward,
now. Just 1 second.
In coming forward, tell him they should not come and tell you stories. To bring his certificate and show the public.
All right. So can we have?
Hello. Good morning.
Identify yourself, please. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, my name is Victor Isaac. I'm calling from Sule.
Okay.
I just want to thank you very much for giving me this one in a lifetime opportunity to speak to Barrister Festus Keyamo. Festus Keyamo, I don't know how to thank you, but I just want to tell you that anywhere Gani Fawehinmi is lying now, he will be lying in peace just because of you. Because I could remember when he was alive, he was like you, the only hope, the only person who look up to, that, there was somebody that could fight for the masses, for the common good. Unlike what we have in some of your colleagues who started well, the likes of Mike Ezekome, who now defend only people who steal more money, ex-governors and the rest. There was this time we had hope in our National Assembly. They came in, took off their own leadership, irrespective of the plans of their party. But today, what is happening? The person we saw as Mr. Integrity, lo and behold, they are all being rubbished by the things they do on the ground. But you, Keyamo, you have been standing for the people. God will continue to guide you. Whatever it is that will take you out from this thing that you are doing will never succeed in Jesus' name. And your family will be protected by the words of the masses that are suffering in this country, who have no hope at all. When a man will steal up to 30 billion and he will be asked to go away just to pay 750,000. There's no hope. But with people like you, one can just look up and say,
thank you very much. Yes, we quite appreciate that. Ambassador Keyamo also appreciated that.
So that's what the uncomfortable position I didn't want to find myself. When you are not prosecuting, you are defending. And I would not want to be found in that position defending people accused of corruption. So for those who are concerned that, why am I prosecuting for the EFCC? Are we not going to lose Keyamo to governments as its arrangement? They should be assured that even some of those cases I'm doing it free for them. So they appreciate my services too. I told you I'm doing Kenny Martins free for them. Some of the cases free.
Now,
so it's better for me, for those who love me, that I should prosecute rather than defend.
Yes. Okay, right. There is a concern here I'm sure a lot of your admirers also should be concerned about this. Why is it difficult for activists to have successful marital relationships?
Well, it happens. Mandela has gone through 3 marriages. So that's our icon. If I've said so, I've said it all. He's gone through 3 marriages, and it is not really, it does not tell the story of your life, as it were, your activist life. At times,
we have a caller online, but I would like Barrister Keyamo to answer this. Please, just hold on, please.
The most sincere part of it is that at times, you give all to the public and you forget the private part of it, and so it suffers. That is the truth. Okay. Forget about all the small quarrels and all the issues involved, but that is the major issue. You give all for something and you neglect the other.
Thank you very much for holding on, please. I'm sorry about that, but I wanted him to just clear that issue. So, may you identify yourself, please? Yes, you're on to the program. Can we have your name, please? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, can we have your name, please? Quickly, we don't have too much time now. You are online now. Good morning. No, I think it's. Are you distracted? Or? Okay, no. Let's quickly. I think we've lost him now. It's sad because I know you're just going through a marital problem now. But I'd like to ask you, as a father, what would you want to say to your son? If he's going to go through this kind of situation.
No, you see, what you need to do is that you need to follow your passion. Just follow your passion. What ought to be done must be done. If you need to give so much of your time to fight for the people, then give your time. If that is your calling, don't forget that this is about calling. If you feel the passion and you feel that some other things will distract you, I'm sorry. There's nothing you can do about it.
Would you recommend a celibate life for activists?
Well, I don't know about that. Depends on who can cope. But
okay, on a lighter mood, because I know we do. I mean, I have a ton of questions to ask you here, yes. But let me just ask this, as we're just trying to round up. Are you a ladies' man?
Oh my God, I don't know.
Festus, don't play me that one.
Well, I don't know. That's the truth.
Okay, now, some of your colleagues have said some really terrible things about you personally.
Those who don't like me.
Yeah, because I guess so. So would you have a beer with them? Would you?
Oh yes, anytime. The problem is this. Let me tell you the problem. Those very few who don't like me, they don't like me because of what they have heard from people, not because of their association with me. all those who were on the other side, who heard so much about me, and they came close enough to me, in just one day, all those perceptions disappear. That's the truth. So I say this boldly, that those who don't like me, they should please come close to me, and my doors are always open. Let us just share thoughts together for 1 hour and see whether their whole perception will not disappear.
Okay, now...
So people, I beg those who hate me, they should not hate me because of what they heard from people.
They should come and
come close to me.
Okay, now, just before we came on set, we were talking about the Super Eagles.
Oh, yes.
So, did you open a bottle of wine with somebody?
Oh, yes, that's my passion. My passion is football. And for those who don't like Arsenal, I'm an Arsenal fan. Totally. Total Arsenal. Whether we buy, we don't buy players. Because, you see, I'm always for those who manage money frugally. And that is why I don't like rich men who just spend anyhow, like Man City and Chelsea. And they're not balancing their books. I like to balance the books. So that's why I like Arsenal. So I'm causing problem here. So I'm a complete football fan. If I'm not talking politics, I'm fighting somebody, then I'm watching football. And I think the Super Eagles were awesome. They were awesome. And that is the way to approach life. Get the job done. Do not be afraid of anybody. And that's the kind of philosophy with which I approach life. Do not be afraid. Do not die before your death. I have never seen any match that has been won before it is played like that last match. Everybody just said, no need. I've had a friend who said, I'm traveling. I don't have time to I don't have heartache. I don't have time for heartache. And when he heard we're leading, he brought one beer parlor. So it's always good to be patriotic, whether you are going down or going up. Just stick. But I think, let me tell you generally, because I'm a football follower, Nigerian football is on the ascendancy. Now, we had a problem when the Super Eagles were disbanded just before the 2002 World Cup. That was disconnection that's happened with Nigerian football till today. When the Sunday Olise, Taribo West and all, they were tagged rebels and they were dropped. So we needed to create that has been the crisis till now. And if we had gone to South Africa 96 too, when Rashidi Yekini had the first opportunity to pair with Kanu Wankwo is just coming from the 93 golden Eagles there and all that. They wanted to pair with the Super Eagles. If we had allowed the Super Eagles to develop like that by now, we would have had smooth transitions.
I think the director is telling us that they're eating into other people's time. So it's been nice talking to you. It's been a warm Monday morning. We want to thank you for blowing away the blues. People say Monday mornings are always very terrible, but
thank you so much.
We thank you for coming on the show.
God bless you.
We hope to have you back again, because there are so many more issues that we'd like to discuss with
God bless you.
Thank you very much, Festus. Thank you. Good. So that has been our first guest on this maiden edition of the program. Every Monday we're going to be doing this, so we expect to find you with us. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.